Yo, 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 welcome to Crate 808, and today we have an all-time rap goat sitting down with us, a man who bayonets cassettes and chops beats with Olympic lyricism and who's been done blowing connoisseur quality in competitors' faces. He's not for the run-of-the-mill drill. Yes, it's the Rock'em Sock'em Robot Hoff who drops bombs, the ominous Indominus Rex. It's the big homie in the Smithsonian, the pre-Kardashian Kanye, and the man who brought us the hot music, the hot music. It's yours truly, Paul Mooney and George Clooney. Yes,
Yeah.
the talented Mr. Trotter, Black Thought, is in the house. How are you doing, Thought?
I'm excellent, man. Yeah, I need to take you on the road with me. I need. That's my intro. That's my new intro, man. That's crazy.
Oh man, that it's mate.
Wow.
If you're dropping them gems, they stick, bro. Like,
oh, man.
You've been dropping them gems for decades, so it's just they just seep into our inner conscious, bro, and they just come out like that. So
thanks, man. I'm like, yo, who is he talking about? That's crazy, like.
Oh man, all I'm saying is I did not even know what an Indominus Rex was, and when I heard that bar, I was like, "Why? I need to Google this." And yeah, so I appreciate it. So man, I'm going to start off. I'm going to start off with what I ask everyone who comes on. Very simple question, but just to get an insight on how you're doing. Thought, what's the least hip hop thing you've done in the last 24 hours, bro?
Last 24 hours, least hip hop thing I've done. I went, I guess, me and my kids, my 5-year-old, my 14-year-old son and the daughter, we went to go then get pizza last night to pick up pizza. And, you know, I had on like some flip-flops and, you know, just a crazy looking outfit. My daughter was embarrassed to be outside with me. I don't think that's very hip hop.
No.
You know, so.
Anytime you're embarrassing your daughter to get pizza, that's not hip hop.
Yeah, that was just last night. Her thing is she says not the whatever. So she just looked me up and down and she was like, not the code, not the slides, not the, you know, she sort of just ran down the line of stuff that I shouldn't have been doing.
Oh, bless her, man. Bless her. That's nice, man. That's nice. Family time, man. I appreciate that. Thought, man. Streams of Thought Volume 3, Cain and Abel, is out now. People are out there copying it. Congratulations on that new record. Smashed it.
Thanks, man.
Before I get into it a little bit, I caught your Colours performance of State Prisoner as well, by the way. Fire, bro. Where can I get one of them goat tops? I need one of those.
Oh, you know what? I think that sweater is made by a company called I want to say it's Ami Paris. But I'm not. Hold on. Let me look because lots of people have been asking me about that sweater, man. Like, I feel like that sweater stole the show.
No, the bars helped.
You know.
Nah, man, it was sick. It's one of them moments.
Oh, you know, it's and rightfully so. The company that makes that sweater is called the Elder Statesman.
It's all crazy.
Yeah.
That's life, man.
Yeah,
that is sick. That is sick. Well, bro, I mean, first of all, before I want to dive in, ask you a few questions on this record, but generally, how are you feeling about it? It's out now, and how are you feeling on it, man? Like, are you feeling good with it now it's out?
Oh, I'm absolutely good with it. I'm excited that it's finally out. You know, I was getting a little anxious with the delays, having to push it back and stuff. And yeah, I'm excited, man. I guess I'm always ahead of my time with regards to my work schedule. So once an album or whatever the piece is, once the piece, you know, some whatever art that I'm creating, it's sort of done. I mentally move on and I'll sort of get on, you know, immerse myself in the next thing, the next compartment, so to speak. So, yeah, it's always, you know, exciting to see things sort of come to fruition because this is, you know, quite honestly, this project has already been in the back of my mind for some time as I've been working on, the next thing and the thing after that. So yeah, it's really exciting that it's out. And then it gets, it gets a little, like I said, I was anxious. It's a little, it throws me off a little bit when things don't come out exactly on schedule, because that means everything else, sort of to follow is also essentially pushed back, So there's that. But then, I mean, ultimately things happen as they should, and we don't always understand it. And yeah, it's a wonderful time to be alive, and to still be able to create, and to have anyone sort of interested in what's coming next. So that sort of relevance isn't something that I take for granted.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's interesting you say that. That's how you're working, where you're just kind of moving on to the next project,
Yeah, yeah.
You have been fairly prolific, to say there's not been much solo stuff in the last few years with your streams things. When you would when you'd brought volume 2 out and you were going to do volume 3, what was your thinking about making this one different to the first and second volumes? Like, obviously you've worked with Ninth Wonder, Salaam Remi, and now Sean C. What did you want to make different with this one compared to the other two?
I'm a completely different person. Like, my creative energy is just different based on sort of who I'm working with, and the idea with streams has always been for it to reflect, what you get when said producer and myself are locked in a room. You know what I mean? Locked together in a room. So yeah, I already knew it was going to be different, because Sean and my relationship is different from Ninth in my relationship, or the relationship I have with Salaam. You know what I'm saying? It's brotherhood across the board, but we bring different elements out of one another in different ways. So yeah, I knew this was going to look different, feel different, and that my writing was going to be different. My general scope always remains the same. Always want to remain conscious of what's going on, and the idea is to create something that's going to be timeless. I don't want to sound dated. If you revisit the project next year, I want something else to reveal itself if you let the record sit over time. So that's going to sort of always be the same, and everything else is it's organic. So it's literally what you get if you and I did a project together and it was just you and I. That'd be something else to sound completely different. And I feel like the fact that I'm working with one producer at a time, it affords me the ability to I could work on a bunch of shit simultaneously, and I could do say 3 different studio sessions this week. Then based on who I'm working with and where my head is, everything it'll sound completely different.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. It does, and it definitely sets itself apart from the other ones that you have brought out. Diving into a few of the tracks, we've talked about State Prisoner briefly there. What a statement to bring out on a record to begin with, and it really is that 2020 kind of energy, and it really reflects that for me, especially over here. When you are, and throughout all your music, you spoke truth to power, I feel, and that's kind of the Black Thought and Roots way. With the stuff where you're using people like Chappelle on Stakem and stuff like that, what was the reasoning behind using that stand-up in particular? What was it about that special that really got you? Was it because it was 846 and about 2020? Like, what could you just tell me about that?
Well, I mean, Dave Chappelle is one of my good friends. I consider him a brother. We worked together on many occasions. I've known him for years, and we have a mutual admiration for one another as sort of geniuses in our respective disciplines. So I feel like he's, as far as the comedic pen and just his wit, his timing, his level of intelligence, he's unparalleled, and he feels the same way about me as an MC. So yeah, and I feel like his most recent work has been some of his best stuff. So that particular excerpt just I felt it was poignant, and Sean C sort of agreed that it said so much about what has transpired and what, continues to sort of take place in this world and in this country, really from day one, without, saying very much at all. You know what I mean? So it's sort of, it says everything and nothing. So yeah, it was dope. And, just to get in and out of it, and, for Dave to, it was easy to have him clear it and all that sort of stuff, so.
Yeah, how are you feeling on that? Because at the moment we're speaking, it's election week. There's been no result at the moment, but generally in this tumultuous 2020, how have you been dealing with that spiritually, mentally? Have you been meditating? Is there anything you've got in place to help
Yeah,
cope with that?
I've been meditating a lot. I've meditated more this year than I have, in my entire life. And
Wow.
I feel like that's what has kept me grounded. I'm not, as zen as I sort of could be,
Mm,
but I definitely see the potential, and I feel the difference, in just my headspace, and just how I feel physically, if when I have time to meditate versus when I don't. So
mm,
it's something that I've definitely embraced, and it's helping me to keep just a more positive, more level sort of equilibrium, because there's so
mm.
much going on, and it's so easy to slip into, wormhole, rabbit hole, downward spiral. I mean, pick your poison.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's what's been helping me sort of maintain. Then
Mm,
and in that, I've just been super productive, and diving deep, deep, deep into the work, and again, just immersing myself into what it is that I feel I have to sort of get out,
mm-hmm,
because it's now. I mean, it's very much now or never. I mean, tomorrow isn't promised, and
mm,
what we say and do and create now
mm.
is very well going to be, um, this stuff. This is the legacy that we're
Yeah.
going to leave behind. So I'm
Mm,
trying to, just I'm creating like a madman right now. Just, but not to the extent where the quality suffers. I'm not just putting out a bunch of stuff just so I could say I put out a bunch of stuff.
for
It's
sure.
I feel like it's all material that I almost have to put out.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You use the word legacy there, man. Because just listen to this album. I think "Fuel" is one of them tracks where I think your bars are something
Oh,
like a foundation for creation of a better me. That's honestly the true definition of legacy.
yeah,
That really stuck to me hearing that the first time, because it made me think of someone like yourself who's got such a storied legacy.
yeah.
One, when you look back at that, is there what are the avenues left to explore for you? Like, what is there stuff that you really want to add, or are you just taking yourself on a journey?
No, there's lots of avenues that are still left to explore. Lots of other just creative disciplines and mediums. There's
Hmm.
still, many a medium to transcend.
Hmm.
And when I get into something new, start working with a new sort of set of tools,
Mm,
um, it's more engaging for me, and that's when I revisit sort of a love. You know what I mean?
mm,
That I won't say that it's lost. I haven't lost my love for music, but I could definitely feel myself uh, being jaded sometimes.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? So it's refreshing to work with a different sort of within a different wheelhouse. You know
mm,
what I mean? So
mm,
doing stuff in the world of theater and just TV film stuff and
mm,
keynote speeches and just work writing more and stuff like that
mm,
is really exciting to
mm,
me. And you know, visual art, fashion. I feel like it's all the same thing at the end of the day. It's telling stories.
hmm.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and the more personal, the more truthful, the more actual experience you're able to incorporate into the way that you're telling said story. That then it's gonna that it shows. It comes through on the plate or on the stage or in the
Mm,
in the text or on the canvas. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Through the aperture. So that's sort of that's what I do, and I'm just trying to with regards to exploring new avenues, I'm just trying to remain open to opportunities that present themselves, because you have to be open. You have to be open minded. And again, it is a journey. To speak to what you were saying a little while ago, it is a journey, and that's what I'm here for. I'm sort of along for the ride, and just trying not to block my blessings, and to show that sort of growth and wisdom. You know what I mean? As an artist, as an elder statesman, as a an
Yeah,
elder
as it's
statesman, as a goat.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so yeah,
That
that's where I'm at with it, man.
I love that, man. I love that. There, you talked there a little minute about visually and visuals, like
Yeah.
mediums and stuff like that. And I think just yourself and the Roots and Questlove and all of you guys have always uh, put an onus on the visual aspects, be it the music videos, be it the covers, be it everything. On the covers for the Streams of Thought, they're just amazing. The Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. Could you
Oh,
break
thank you.
down those artworks for me? Like, art means different things to different people. But to you, what do those three really mean, those out of the Streams covers?
I think even more so than me wanting to dictate what it means, or what the intention was behind the usage of whatever art
Mm,
that I use for a cover, or whatever artist that I might partner up with,
mm,
um, for a specific project. I think it's more important to just to present it, to put it out there, to be interpreted by the beholder. I think it all speaks to um a very personal aesthetic,
mm,
you know um be it an original work, or something that was licensed, or
mm,
something, so it could be a piece that's commissioned, or
mm.
something that's licensed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or and I feel like what became it's really a continuation of a roots tradition of like
Mm,
making that visual something that's going to be impactful, and that's going to sort of stand the test of time. We relatively early on, we said, you know what, we're tired of being on the cover of records. It's like,
mm.
I mean, we've been there, we've done that. You're never happy with the photos. You look back and it's like, oh, that outfit was whack. It's
Yeah.
why did I have my hair cut that way or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I feel like art, be it a photograph, a sketch. We've had albums where the cover was a stick figure. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Yeah, yeah.
still, I feel like there's something far more profound
Mm,
about just that sort of visual. So that's something that
mm.
we incorporated into the Roots brand some time ago, and it's something that I continue in my solo works, and it inspires other artists to to
Mm,
think outside the box with how they're going to represent their material when they put it out.
mm,
It's like, what, I want some fine art shit, or I want to collaborate with this artist, to sort of do my thing too. And
yeah.
I feel like that's what it's about. It's about one hand washing the other, and just creatives working together, as a
Mm,
collective. So
yeah.
yeah, that's that's
Yeah.
that's what it's about for real.
I love that about the collective because it is rare to see so many features on a Thought record as much as there was on this new one. I felt. Uh,
Yeah.
what was the? Is it just that? Just wanted to collaborate and wanted to be creative with different people like Pusha T, Killer Mike, Swizz Beats, all these different people. Portugal the Man.
These are all folks who I have a relationship with,
Mm,
who I didn't force it with anyone. There's no one on my record whose path I didn't naturally sort of cross.
mm,
You know what I mean? There's people that
yeah.
I run into often, either here at the Tonight Show, or
Mm,
uh, people who I've toured with in the past, or I mean, there's always been sort of a mutual, hey, when we get the opportunity to work together, let's work together. And there are dozens,
mm,
probably hundreds of artists that I have that sort of relationship with. And this series has been more about following up, you know what I mean, and saying, hey, that
mm,
thing we talked about doing,
yeah.
this is it, like let's do it.
Wicked. Ah, I see,
Yeah.
man. I see. Do you, just as an insight into the rap circle, as a '90s head and as a just as a fan, just to see people working together like that is a beautiful thing.
Ah,
In your circle, do you have a lot of like support with other peers? Like, do you talk to them about bars or like songwriting, or what do you think to this, or is there anything like that in a circle?
absolutely, absolutely. People I
Okay,
speak to often who we bounce material off one another. Let me see. Let me see. Roc Marciano.
big.
He and I, we shoot material back and forth. I
Mm.
speak to Royce the 5'9", all super often.
Oh, yeah.
Toby and Wegway.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, Obviously Yasiin Bey and
For
Talib
sure.
Kweli and Common, like they're my day
Mm.
ones. Pharaoh
Yeah.
Monch, these are people who I speak to, you
Mm.
know, all the time.
Mm.
I've gotten, pretty close with the guys in Griselda. So, we send
Sweet.
material back and forth.
Mm.
I'm pretty big on, the litmus test
Mm.
on, sending stuff to people sort of just to see what their response is. And,
Mm.
and vice versa. Having them send me stuff just to get a fresh set of ears on it,
For sure.
is sometimes it makes all the difference. And then, working with people sort of who aren't even musicians, like take, Ta-Nehisi Coates, who is a
Mm.
brilliant, writer and, represents the culture on very many different levels. He's just a brilliant intellect.
Mm.
Um, he shared with me, maybe a couple years ago that his, the Roots was always his favorite band. I'm his favorite rapper. And he sort of incorporates the inspiration from my writing style into what he does. So, I
Nice.
essentially inspire him to write when he writes his books. And then I was able to share with him that, that's so ill because when I read your books, I feel that it feels like, it's lyrical. And I'm
Mm.
inspired by, the books that he writes. I'm saying? The Water Dancer, Between the World and Me, and, essays that he used to write for The Atlantic. And, I've been a huge fan of his before, we had met one another. So to see the inspiration sort of, go, I always say 360, but, to see it's like it's full circle is what, 180? I don't know. To
Yeah. Yeah.
see
Yeah.
to see the
Yeah.
inspiration go full circle in that
Mm.
way,
Mm.
it's dope. You know what I mean? And he's,
Yeah.
he's not a musician at all, but he incorporates a lyrical aesthetic
Mm.
into his prose.
Yeah.
You know?
That's wicked, man. That's wicked.
Yeah,
It all comes together, coalesces really nicely into just a package of, well, as you said, art.
yeah,
You talking there quickly, I had to ask you, because just as a head, you'd say there about Royce. Was the Black and Nickel album project ever a thing? Like, I kept hearing
yeah.
these rumors. Yeah? So
It was a thing.
what
We
was...
we recorded some songs. We started recording some stuff. We put that one song out, Rap on
Mm,
Steroids, and
mm, mm.
yeah,
Banger.
I actually just hit him a few weeks ago and said we should try and like get just some studio time sort of on the books between
Mm,
now and the top of the year, because it doesn't take many sessions for me to sort of work and come up with a bunch of stuff with anyone.
wow.
So yeah, we were just talking about that. I definitely want to, sort of finish what I started across the board. And because of my day job, it takes some time, you know
Mm,
what I mean, sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't, and I'm able to do it sort of in my sleep. But yeah,
yeah.
that's something that was absolutely a thing, and I feel like it still is, because we've got some material that the world is yet to hear.
Damn. Okay, here for that. Here for that.
Yeah.
Before I move on to, I just want to ask a bit more about the background to Black Thought. We're talking there about peers. One of the first moments, I'm sure you hear this all the time, is Super Lyrical. It is Big Pun. That feature, when you look back at that feature on Super Lyrical and Big Pun, how do you feel about that now looking at it? Looking, what is it, 98?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, 98 something.
Mm,
It's a proud moment, man. It's for me it was almost like a graduation and initiation. It
mm,
definitely felt great to be recognized by my peers
yeah.
in that way, you know what I mean? The Roots, has always sort of been different. We've been outcasts because of the live instrumentation, and I felt like that's had the MCs associated with the roots. We've almost had to work extra doubly hard. You know what I mean? We've had to work twice as hard just to sort of maintain credence, amongst our peers who were more who just had a more traditional sound. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, us being sort of the unconventional, you rapping over unconventional production and an the unconventional way, and then having an unconventional look. It was like, okay, the roots are our shit sort of hit different. So yeah, when Big Pun tapped me to jump on Super Lyrical, which is a project that Sean C A&R'd, so it was really essentially Sean C reached out to me early on to jump on that Big Pun project and to work with Executioners, of which he was part, legendary DJ collective Executioners, and he put me on my first collaboration with Ghostface, and he was because we've always sort of had this sort of rapport. He he's been checking for me in that way for a long time. So yeah, definitely a proud moment for me, man. A career high,
Yeah, absolutely, man. Because I remember, wasn't Pun supposed to be on Adrenaline? This is another rumor I heard. I'm not sure if it was
that's true.
Oh man, what happened there, man?
That's a fact. On the night that Pun was on his way to the studio to record Adrenaline, he stopped really quickly to drop someone off at a legendary New York City nightclub, the Tunnel. And he had a big fancy car. I guess it was whatever was the popping SUV of the day, and he had some crazy spinning rims, and the car drew a lot of attention. He was double parked. The car was drawing attention. The police came over to the car, and I guess he had some outstanding tickets for traffic stuff or whatever the case. He got arrested that night. On the way to the studio, and yeah, we were sort of we weren't a jam at that point, because we had come up to New York to just put the finishing touches on the album before turning it in. So being able to sort of lock Pun down was really important, and we really wanted him on this record. But then he wasn't able to do it, and that became a vehicle for us to present Beanie Siegel, to the world. So
for sure,
that wound up being, Beans, he got his first shot because Pun didn't come to the studio that night,
That's
so
crazy, man.
The rest is really history. You know what I mean? Again, we don't always understand why things are happening the way that they are, but you got to go with the flow, man. Be like water.
That's it. Like Mr. Bruce Lee said, man, I love it. Just for a minute, thought, what you're eating right now, is that chicken Szechuan? Because you got me into chicken Szechuan because of your line on Things Fall Apart.
It's not chicken Szechuan, but it's close, man. It's really close, yeah.
Because
it's like chicken. It's like spicy chicken ramen from Wagamama.
Okay, Wagamama's, go on, Waggies. I love that. Because I just remember that line, I chop up rappers like chicken Szechuan. And that line...
everything I've ever said. It's crazy.
I'm a bit of a stan. I'm trying not to be a stan, but yeah. But that line, the only reason I remember it is because I didn't know what chicken Szechuan was, bro. And I was like, what is that? So I remember going to the Chinese restaurant like that month and getting it and being like, oh, holy... Black Thought knows what he's talking about. So yeah, I had to ask, man. That reminds me think, actually, just as when you are traveling the world and doing your thing, what are the songs or the verses people like kind of approach you about more than most?
People always want to hear the stuff that was a throwaway verse, or the stuff that isn't my favorite. Those are the songs that become favorites of the fans, and just historically. So we there's certain stuff that we can't not have in our set list, like the Mellow My Mans and Proceed and stuff like that. People always want to hear that scat,
Yeah.
what they do, stuff like that.
Mm.
Verses, specific verses that people approach me about, definitely super lyrical. That might be, in the eyes of hardcore roots fans, like the best thing that I've ever done.
Mm.
Um, People always approach me about Bird's Eye View, which was
Okay.
a Static Selector collaboration from
Yeah.
a few years ago. Um,
Sick.
Obviously, Funkmaster Flex freestyle,
For sure.
stuff like that. But
Hmm.
I mean, it depends on if you're a novice or if you're a real head. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm-mm. For sure, absolutely, man. That freestyle, of course, it kind of renewed that. I don't know. At that time, I'm just going to be completely honest with you. I didn't think you needed cementing as a rap goat at that time, but I
Yeah,
felt like when that happened, more people in my vicinity started talking about you, if you know what I mean. And
yeah, yeah,
I don't know how
yeah.
you
I agree.
felt. I mean, are you, looking back on that, what was that 11, 12 million views it's on or something? Like, how did that affect your career generally? Or did it?
Um, I think it was the end of 2017,
Mm-mm.
but it was huge for me. You know what I mean? It was a viral moment.
Mm-mm.
At it was just perfect timing. The stars and planets were in perfect alignment, and again, something that for me was just going to rap some raps after a long day at work,
Mm.
and just me being intent that I wasn't going to spend a lot of time there because I was tired. I wanted to get home to
Mm.
rest up. It was freezing cold, and I shot 2 Tonight shows that evening, so
Oh,
it
wow.
was that. So it was just about getting in there to get it done, to sort of deliver on my word, because I've been saying
Mm.
that I was going to make it up there for quite some time, and it's not very far. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm-mm.
So yeah, I won't say it was a throwaway verse, but it was, I was just rapping some raps, and folks were like, "Oh my God," you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
broke the internet, so to speak. So that was
Yeah.
huge for me, and it was a reintroduction, a resurgence in just people being knowledgeable of what it is that I do, and it had
Mm.
folks sort of dive back into my catalog in a different way. So
Mm. Because even though
yeah.
you're saying there, I was just rapping some raps. It sounds amazing to me because when I hear rappity rap, it doesn't always say anything. Like majority of the time, it doesn't say anything. That Funkmaster Flex freestyle, I remember one of the biggest things takeaways was you were saying something. Like everything you had. Obviously, there's the technical aspect which is incredible, and everyone talks about breath control and all that. I'm talking about the substance. This guy's freestyling and is actually telling me, books to read or things to think, and that for me is what separates the greats from the just generally good rappers. So yeah, man, big up on that. You absolutely smashed it.
Thank you.
Um, Thought going back though, got to go back, ask you a few things just about growing up and getting into rap. First of all, Black Thought, the name, where did it come from, and did you have any other MC names before that one?
Yeah, Black Thought came from me being a visual artist. So as an art student,
Mm,
black looks, and people understand black as sort of the absence of color, or
mm,
the absence of light. But
mm,
as a visual artist, we understand just the way to achieve, the darkest black on a palette. You almost have to use all of the color. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So black, just as a like the black palette
Mm,
is compromised is comprised of everything, and that sort
yeah.
of was that represented my style. I
Mm,
feel like it still does, but definitely when I was a young person, and
mm,
just to be able to have a name that was a double entendre, you know what I mean?
yeah.
My name could have just as well been, Black Progress. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
you know, Black Love. Who
Yeah.
knows? It's about the concept of Black thought, and being able to inspire thought and creativity,
Mm,
and to be thought provoking, so to
mm,
speak, as well as yeah, just a nod to my background as a visual art student.
yeah.
So yeah, but before I settled with Black Thought, man, I was yeah, I was T Metaphor at one point
T
when Quest and
Metaphor.
I were together. We
Okay,
were
nice.
we were Radioactivity, T Metaphor and the Divine Technician.
Oh, I'm here for
Um,
that still.
we were Black to the Future. Um,
Love that.
I think my name was Hawk Smooth, and I was named Hawk Smooth because I was a huge Big Daddy Kane, Cool G Rap fan, and they had a boy named Hawk and another boy named Smooth. And at the end of the record, Set It Off, you hear Big Daddy Kane shouting those guys out. You know what I mean? He goes Hawk, Smooth, Miami. And he's just like naming names of his friends, and I was like, yo, pull that back. Yo, that's my name. I'm both those guys. You know what I'm saying? So,
That is sick. That is
Yeah,
sick.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
but yeah, I think my first name was I'm Tariq Trotter. That's my government. So I was
Hmm.
double T. As a kid, when I was like 9 or 10 years old, and then
Okay.
I shortened it. I was DT Rock. That was
Hmm.
sort of a nod to the to Tila Rock and like those
For sure.
guys.
For sure. Yeah.
RC La Rock. So I was like,
I'll
yeah, I'm
see you
DT
rock.
Rock, double T Rock. But yeah,
Damn.
yeah. Those are some of the names that I had
Mm.
before sort of going with Black Thought.
Love that, man. You were saying there a bit like growing up, you're so young with these names as well. Do you remember that time? Because obviously you were saying there you arrived to a new audience with Funkmaster Flex. You had Super Lyrical as a thing that really ingrained you in people's kind of conversations. But do you remember for yourself being the first time someone gave you some amazing validation that you were actually good? Like, oh, I'm actually good at this. Do you remember where that came from?
Um, I did. I was hooked since my first talent. Well, my second talent show. My second talent show performance was when I was about. I don't know how old you are in fourth grade, but I was like in
Mm-mm.
fourth, maybe fifth grade,
Mm.
and I performed in a group the year before that sang. We sang a song. We did a DeBarge cover,
Oh,
and
nice.
it was well received, but we didn't kill shit. And
Mm-mm.
then I came back the next year with sort of every representation of the hip hop culture. We had b-boys and graffiti and the human beatbox, and we had
Mm.
everything but a DJ up there because we were performing to a cassette. But
Nice.
three MCs, me, my friend Waleek, who was one of my classmates, and Beanie Siegel, who was he was younger than Waleek and I, but
Mm.
this was all of our first sort of rap show. I think he was in third grade. I was like in fourth grade. So we were
Damn.
young guys. And yeah,
That's
I
sick.
was hooked since then. I did another performance. I performed at my eighth grade graduation. And that's when I knew like, this is what I want to do. Like this is
Yeah.
my calling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Oh, that's amazing. Uh, just going to pass through a few little conversation pieces I had. Just wanted to talk to you because your work spans so many different facets. Me and my friend, we were sitting down the other day. We were just having a whiskey and just standing over your verse on Apollo Kids's on Ghostface's track,
yeah.
and there's this line, and I would love for you to tell me about After Midnight Philly.
Okay.
So, like,
Yeah.
paint that picture for me for that club. Like,
Well,
what was that?
the After Midnight in Philly was an iconic, hip hop club. It was an after hours club,
Mm,
of which there have always been very many, in the Philly culture.
mm, mm, mm,
And after hours is a spot that's opened after the time that all clubs sort of legally have to, shut down.
mm,
So
mm, mm.
I think like if you and it has something to do with your liquor license or something. But like there's some contingency where if it's if it's considered a private club or
Mm.
membership facility or something, then you could still be open after hours. So
Yeah.
After Midnight was one of those clubs, and it was one of the few spots that played hip hop at the time and that had hip hop performances that was open after midnight.
Right,
Um,
right.
and in the original structure, I think it was a smaller club, but eventually they moved into a different space where it was a roller skating rink, and it was a big deal.
Mm,
So
mm,
if you came through Philly to do a performance and you were a rapper, you would probably perform at the After Midnight. And,
Mm.
you know, well, I was too young to get into the After Midnight, but I was one of those badass kids who would be, you know, all over the city. And so sometimes I would just be in the vicinity of the After
Mm.
Midnight to see who's coming and going. But my cousin and I and my friends, we would get cassette tapes that were recorded inside the club, and then we would study them.
Yeah.
And I studied performances by, you know, Big Daddy Kane came to the After Midnight once to battle a rapper from my neighborhood named Jazz Fresh, and
Oh.
you know, Jazz Fresh won this battle. You can Google it. You can look up the, you know,
Damn.
Jazz Fresh versus Big Daddy Kane at the After Midnight in Philly, and
Mm.
you know, that was an iconic performance to me. And that really, you know, spoke to me as a young person from South Philadelphia. Like, wow, this is somebody who, you know, he's from a couple blocks away, and he took out Kane. You know what I mean? It was
Mm.
close, but I mean, he really, you know,
Mm.
it's a matter of opinion. But you know, the consensus, especially in Philadelphia, is that Jazz Fresh, you know,
Yeah.
he beat Kane in that battle. And then there was another performance. I mean, there's so many performances, man. Tough
Mm.
Crew, Three Times Dope, Jazzy Jeff
Wicked.
and the Fresh Prince, legendary Philly artists.
Mm.
You know, Cash Money, Marvelous Marv, arguably,
Mm.
you know, the greatest DJs in the history of DJing, and then their rappers whose job it was at the time was, you know, to sort of hype up the DJ. But
Mm.
then you'd have a young LL Cool J who came to perform at the After Midnight, and
Wow.
this one performance he did when he may have been 16 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So again, just relatively young.
Mm.
Um, it changed my life. You know what I mean? Like hearing that performance, hearing his lyrics, the way he put it together. You know, just it was the era of, you know, the devastating devastator, innovating innovator, manipulator. You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
rhymes
Yeah.
that ended aters, but LL did it with a finesse and a style and grace, and but at the same time, just with such a fierceness in his vocal that
Mm.
it was unmatched. And he was a kid, but he was, you know, he was really making his presence known. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And you know, it changed that verse, that performance, you know,
Mm.
changed my life. So that's the After Midnight, you know. And then these are,
Damn.
you can look that one up. Look up you know, LL Cool J at the After Midnight in Philly, and you'll hear, you know,
Mm.
the verse that very well is the reason I became a rapper.
Damn, man, that is amazing. When you were saying there about battles you've heard with Kane, did you battle much? Did you battle much as an MC, or were you more about just the song creating?
Did I battled as an MC when I was a young person? You know, I went all around from neighborhood to neighborhood. First, you know, I was a break dancer, so I battled as, you know, in my
Mm.
crew,
Hmm.
and we went around. I was a graffiti writer, so you know, we went around, you know, versing, um, you know, lots of the other sort of local graffiti artists.
Mm.
And I was a human beatbox. So I did, you know, I did all that stuff. I was never a good DJ, so I didn't battle as a DJ. But yeah,
Yeah,
I tried everything else out, and then once I started rapping, I
yeah.
realized that that was sort of the, you know, the mode for me, and I
Mm.
stuck with it. And yeah, I battled lots, but just at a young age, and I got it sort of out of the way,
Mm.
you know, early enough that you know, once I became an MC of note,
Mm.
I was already finished with battling folks. You know what I mean?
Damn, man. Yeah, no, no, that's fair. That's fair. Um, Going back then to the streams, you said you finished the new volume 3. You're ready to move on to the next one. Are we going to see some work in 4 and 5? What's the plan, man? Like, break it down for me.
Streams Volume 4 is incredible. I'm not just, you know, tooting my own horn. It's I mean, I guess it depends on what you're checking for. If you
Mm-hmm.
want to, you know, the idea is to hear me with production that sounds and feels different from the roots and just a different aesthetic, and to see me with, you know, just more of your favorite artists,
Mm.
doing more unexpected collaborations, but then also to see, you know, more of the usual expected sort of cast of characters. Then it's all about Volume 4. But
Wicked.
before Volume 4, I'm putting out a different album, and it's sort of a long awaited project, and I'm really excited about it.
Break it
There's some
down, man.
features on that too, but Not as many as Volume 4. Volume 4, I got lots of features.
Okay, are we talking Dangerous Thoughts here?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
tell the audience, man. Dangerous Thoughts. You and Danger
Dangerous
Mouse, right?
Thoughts is a long-awaited collaborative effort between Danger Mouse and myself, and it's a return to hip hop and to samples, for him, and it's a return to sort of the essence for two, again, elder statesmen who are cut from a certain cloth and who were made, we were inspired to do what it is that we do by a certain, style and sound and feel, and always been mutual fans of one another. And we started this album actually, I want to say 14 years ago,
Wow.
and just, we've been sidetracked, and, various things have taken place in our careers. But we've been working pretty steadily over the past, year and some change, maybe 2 years or so now. But yeah, we've been working, up a storm. So we've got, and this is not, I wouldn't even consider it part of Streams of Thought series, because it's something that was conceived long before Streams of Thought was. And, we've been working on it for, like I said, what feels like a lifetime.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got a full-on album.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah,
man.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So it's a full album. You've done this full album. Is 4, 5? Are they going to still be EPs and albums mixed together? The Streams series, or are you thinking...
I'm taking it as it comes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got lots. On the
Wicked.
plate. Plenty of stuff is done, and it's dope to be in a space where the idea is just partnering up with the right person at the right time to put it out. I'm not like stressed, like, okay, now I've got this situation and I got, folks sort of checking for it. Now I've got to go and create the art.
Yeah.
That's definitely not the case. That's what I mean by, I'm just trying to stay ahead of my time in that way and stay ahead of the curve, and just continue to, just keep a full clip,
For sure, man. Like the reference, full clip as well. Like that. That reminds me, actually, are we going to see any... I heard there's work with yourself and Premier and even Q-Tip. Could we see any of that coming up in the Streams thing, or is that...
It's coming up. Yeah, me and Premier, we've recorded some songs, just he and I, with the intention of using it as a Streams volume, and with Q-Tip as well. We got Q-Tip and I, we've been recording for the past year and some change, just when we get a chance to, and we've got enough songs. I can put out a Q-Tip joint now if I want to.
Damn.
But more so than either of those projects, which will probably still going to happen, Premier and I formed sort of a super group with Bone Burnett and Elvis Costello and Cassandra Wilson and Nathaniel Ratliff, and just a really unusual sort of motley crew of sorts that we've been recording this project that's tentatively being called Dopamine, and it's helmed by Bone Burnett, and so Premier did, it's weird how the songs sort of come to be, but most of we come up with some stuff that's essentially live instrumentation, and Premier is right there, and he sort of takes it and chops it up, and we've been working in that capacity. So yeah, I've got lots of stuff that Premier and I have recorded in the past year or so.
I'm here for it, man. Hip hop is aging just amazingly compared to like other genres, I feel, and not just being biased, but I do feel like you could be 50 right now, you could be 60 right now, and I think Daddy-O dropped an album like recently, and I was like, this is like a beautiful thing to have stuff like that resonates. Just on that tip, and obviously you guys as elder statesmen, I have a young lad, 3 years old. When he gets older, right, and I give him Black Thought, you need to listen to some Black Thought. What do you reckon should be the record I give him as his like coming of age to get into Roots and yourself?
I think you should give him Things Fall Apart.
Boom.
That's our seminal performance. I think, that's us coming into our sort of comfort zone, and really beginning to understand the space in which we occupy, and embracing it. So yeah, I think Things Fall Apart that's not as good as it gets, but that's an excellent sort of point of departure.
Yeah. And then if you're looking at like the proudest moments for yourself, is Things Fall Apart probably your favorite project you've worked on? I know that's a very big question. I know you've done so much, but out of the Roots stuff, especially, where do you hold that in regard to the other work you've done?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I mean, Do You Want More was our, arrival to the ball. That was our introduction to the game. So that holds, a very special place in my heart. But yeah, thanks for Philadelphia, man. Philadelphia Half-Life. I think the idea has always been to create music that's timeless. And the fact that these songs continue to inspire folks is sort of what we do it for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
But yeah, if you're gonna put your kid onto the Roots, start with Things Fall Apart, then go Philadelphia, and then sort of hop around.
Love that thought. Thank you, man. Well, bro, thank you for the time. I appreciate all that, and I appreciate basically the insight you're giving me to your creative process is amazing. I wish you the best of luck with this project going ahead, man. Is there anything else you'd like to plug to the listeners and the watchers, the viewers right now, like stuff that's coming up that you haven't already talked about?
I mean, just 215 entertainment, TV, and film production stuff. Be on the lookout for that. I'm still doing stuff in as an actor. I'm doing stuff as a composer, arranger in the world of theater. Just keep checking for us, man. Your support, the love and the support, and just the positive energy has always been appreciated, and we appreciate and sort of need it now more than ever. So
yeah, man. Just reminded me, you were saying there about you lived in London, right, for a while. You lived in the UK for a while,
a year, for the better part of 1994.
What's the thing you miss most about London?
I miss, man, chips. You know what I'm saying?
I knew it was going to be chips.
Definitely, like
Yeah.
chips. Just there's a certain richness to the culture that you can't find it anywhere else. I mean, and it's something that you can't fake it, and you have to be immersed in it. It's something that you don't get in a visit, and you don't get it from staying at a hotel stay either. You have to sort of be of the people and with the people in a certain way. And when we lived in London, we were very much Londoners. So I miss it all. I feel like we were broke, and we were there on a shoestring budget, but those were some of the best days and the best times of my life. So
yeah, man, wicked.
Yeah.
That leaves me with one last thing then, man, before you do go. What's the last great piece of music you heard? Could be old, could be new, just the last great piece where you were like, damn, that is amazing.
Last great piece of music. I've been listening to Bootsy Collins' group, sort of their demo, the demo that they recorded with the JBs. It's really sort of as their audition for James to be musicians for James Brown. And it's an album that I got recently on vinyl, and I've just been rocking out to it. It's called Mo Mess on My Thing.
Mo Mess on My Thing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Mo
check
Mess
that.
on My Thing. It's crazy. It's it's I guess it's essentially the JBs, but it's Bootsy Collins playing bass, for the first time for James Brown and those guys, and it's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That sounds wild, man. That sounds wild. Thank you, Thought. I really appreciate it, man. Good luck with the whole new shebang of work that's going to be coming out, man. I can't wait to hear it. And yeah, man, take it easy, bro.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. Thanks for taking the time.
Wicked, man. Peace. Well. Black Thought. There we go. There we go. It's just mad. I kind of want to just call my mum up now and just be like, Mum, had Black Thought on the podcast. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed that. Yeah, he dropped some gems right there, talking about Big Pun, talking about LL, talking about Philly, talking about just everything, the roots. So I really hope you enjoyed that, guys. Please subscribe. Please like, please share, tell a friend. Always here for the feedback. So yes, go on YouTube, subscribe to us if you're not already on YouTube watching this, because these are going to be more and more frequently video. Go on crate808.com to cop some merch, and obviously please subscribe to the newsletter. That'll be out there, going out hopefully every few weeks, maybe every month, just to give you a heads up on what's going on. A few little tidbits in there as well about our favorite music. So crate808.com, just subscribe via that as well. And yeah, man, coming up, we've got more. We're still doing our greatest 3 album run of the 90s. We've still got Gangstar to come. We've still got Outkast. We've still got Redman. We've still got Mobb Deep. There is a lot of stuff coming your way. And big up everyone out there who's been showing us love. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever, man. Like, whenever you're showing us some love, it really means a lot. We value every one of you. And yeah, man, I shall catch you on the flip side, and let's see what else we can bring you. Boom.